Hey all, long time no speak. I'm doing something slightly different today. Last night, while I was travelling home on a coach from the Newcastle United v Ipswich Town Premiership League fixture, I got a signal and it told me this name of the affidavit in the recent affidavit that Turtle Boy's lawyers filed in his case. It also concerns the Karen Reid case. And I'm a bit wondering because why would someone send me this? Now, has Turtle Boy picked me because I had appeared on Kate's show on 2 or 3 occasions when we were dealing with paedophiles, etc. Um, but is he trying to get Kate Peter into trouble? I don't know. But I got this name, the alleged person who signed the affidavit. So I thought, well, let's look and see her history. So here we go. Welcome to the stream. Um, I'm hoping that this is going to be a relatively short video because no way, surely, no way has she must be a person of great character. Um, Turtle Boy's, Aidan Kearney's lawyers must have done due diligence on her, I'm sure. But let's have a look. We're going to start, and this is my second time of trying to record this because obviously it's so long since I've done it, and I forgot to switch the screen. So let's switch the screen over. There we go. I think I've got another image. Where is it? Let's. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's take the PK off for now. Where's that? So that we get a very good. Let's have a look at her image. Right. Meet Jean Colantonio. I think Turtle Boy has called her JD, and interestingly, that was one of her pseudonyms, which was or aliases, should I say, which was Jean Dorchester. But that's her picture. I'll get rid of that for now. And there we, not that one. Sorry, I'm not a professional. There we go. Right. Okay. So we have some court records. Obviously, surely, she can't have done anything criminal. So let's start with the civil. We're right back here in 1998. Ah, right, okay. Claim for non-payment of rent. Okay, let's, she was only young then, so probably nothing to worry about. Well, she went pro se. Can't really tell what happened. Judgment by default. It says no details of any amounts or anything. But the case was disposed. So okay, she's relatively young then. So okay, they'll go. Oh, there's another one. As you can see, against Jean M. Colantonio. Fairly unusual name, actually. These are all from Mass. Obviously, you all know that I can't say that word. 2006 case. Have we got any? Looks like it was dismissed, which would normally suggest, this is a company claiming funds that she then settled it. So okay, she may be going. Let's forgive her that one, shall we? Yeah, you know, some people, yeah, some point in life may get into a little debt, but maybe she sorted that. Right, but we have another one. Housing Authority against her. Um, 2014. Have we got any? Oh, judgment for plaintiff for possession and rent. Oh, we've got judgment on here. Oh, not too much. $417. $438. Okay, that's over 10 years ago. Oh, okay, yes, you know, younger, maybe turned over a new leaf. Oh, there's another one. Again against Jean Colantonio. Have we got any judgment here? So that says dismiss. So again, we can't really tell what happened with that one, but it was a case against her. Civil, obviously civil. Okay, maybe if I have civil cases that I can be fairly trustworthy. Just getting into a bit of financials. Oh, another one. What's this? 2015. We got any? No, nothing there. Okay. Oh, another one. 2015, and you'll note that these are, go back to that one, different case numbers. So, am I in the wrong place? There we go, different case numbers. Right. Is there any judgment in this one? Well, there's a lot more. I'm just scrolling through these. You can take your time, slow it down once the premieres run. Oh, these are some fairly healthy numbers. Total was $4,105. Not a little bit of money, but hey ho, that's still some time ago. She's, surely she's a good character. Oh, 2016, same plaintiff. Showing you the right thing here, yeah. What's going on here then? Judgment for plaintiff for possession and rent. Oh, we're up to $6,642. Now I assume that's probably includes the previous judgment, maybe that wasn't paid, but she does like running up those arrears of rent. But no, that let's forgive her. I'm saying it's a one-off, but questionable character. I don't know. Right, next one. What do we have here? Same plaintiff. We're now into 2017. And let's have a look. Again, we can't really tell what happened there because the event was resolved. Okay, these are civil matters, obviously. Right, same plaintiff. Summary process, residential cause other than non-payment of rent. Again, we can't really tell what happened. We're into 2019 here, but that's a few years ago. She's probably, gone to church or something. I don't know. Right, different plaintiff here. Residential, other than of rent. And we did get a judgment in this one. This is a smaller amount, $250. 2019. Ooh, she didn't bother turning up. I've just seen. Is that? Yeah, there you go. She didn't bother turning up. But hey, oh, there's another one. Oh, different plaintiff again. We're now into 2021. That's not that, we're getting into, you know, current current times. What is this? Non-payment of rent. Let's have a look. Quite a lot of Oh, now shall I make that smaller, just in case you are wanting to read it? Just a second. Got to get the right window, and we'll make it a little bit smaller so that we can get the right hand side for you. I don't think that was a problem on anything else, but that was a problem on this one. Bear with me 1 second. At least I'm not live, but I am recording this live. I don't intend to chop and change. I don't know if I'm in the right position, but let me just scroll right up to the top. Otherwise, I won't be able to. There we go. Right. Place it. Okay. Want it slightly higher. Right. I don't think you saw any of that. There we go. Right. So yeah, you can read all the way to the right, and we have a judgment. How much for? Just trying to read it. Cool. What's that? Damages. What did she do then? That's not rent. Look. Let me just highlight that. Damages. $7,500. Total $8,020. It's 2022. Well, 3 years ago. She probably turned over that new leaf. But there's another one. That's a different plaintiff, I think. Yep. Different plaintiff. Is there any information on this one? Just scrolling through. Quite a long docket. Oh, dear me. Oh, dear me. Look at that amount. $22,087.85. The execution total. And this is 2021. Wow. So that's someone else. But she's obviously a good cat. Well, I'm getting stale now, aren't I? Repeating myself. I mean, surely everything is going to be all civil, and her attorneys just weren't too worried about this. Okay, into 2022 now. What have we got here? Is it housing again? Yeah, housing again. So a capias was issued, but the court doesn't have authority to arrest. So the court obviously determined something against her. I'm just trying to understand, see if we've got any further details on here. No further details. as far as I can see. Obviously, again, you can pause, look at these at your leisure. I'm scrolling through them. Oh, hang on. Is that an amount there? No, that can't be an amount. Is that a date? Am I showing that on the screen? There, I've highlighted it there. Oh well, that must be it, mustn't it? You know, Gene. Gonna have to go up the top to remember the name. Gene Colantonio, the signer, apparent signer of the affidavit. That's some civil matters, but surely there can't be anything criminal, can there? Surely not. Well, let's bring up this screen, shall we? What's on this screen? Transition it over. That looks criminal. Now, obviously, I've been to the sites to download this stuff, so it's no surprise to me that it's criminal. I think I'm just trying to express surprise for your benefit, shall we say? All right, okay. So let's have a look. Ah, that's just a motor vehicle one. No, nothing to worry about there. And it was dismissed. Okay. What's this? This is witness juror police court official intimidation. Back in 2013. But again, she did a probation violation during this, but eventually I believe that so the probation violation was found, but the case was dismissed. So, okay. She obviously didn't do it. She's obviously a good character. These charges, nothing happened, obviously. All right. Another one. A and B with dangerous weapon. This is in 2011. Again, because I put these in order, I do know that the charges were disposed, so there was no prosecution at the end of that. So obviously a mistake. Plus, she's obviously still a very good character. Most people pick up charges like this. It's just normal. What's this? Date is 1996. Now, I thought I had these all in order, but I obviously didn't. These are because they were the dismissed ones as well, so it doesn't really matter. Assault with a dangerous weapon. I don't really know what happened there. That the case is closed in the system there. But it's a long time ago, so obviously she's a very good character, and we can trust exactly what she says. What's this? It's on felony, assault with dangerous weapon. This is 2021. Date of offence, November 21. I say November 21, that could be January. You've got to remember when I look at dates. All right, what have we got here? A lack of prosecution again, so that was dismissed. Obviously, nothing in that, nothing to see here. There's another one. Destruction of property, $250, malicious. Misdemeanor, again, I do know 2000, this one. Case closed. We'll assume dismissed there. All right. Next one. Larceny by check over $1,200, which is a felony. This is 2021, so we're coming up to current times, but I mean, obviously someone else. Didn't happen. Let's have a look. Oh, it's pending. Pending. So this one's still open. Oh, that's more interesting, isn't it? Felony, larceny by check over $1,200, and it's pending. But we could just ignore that, surely. Doesn't mean that she'd lie about something. There's another one. What's this? I think I know. I can now remember the order I put these in. This one, I think there was a plea. Is it this one? Oh, you can go back anyway. But I know she's pled for one thing. But that's a pending case. Oh, there's another one. What's this one? Credit card fraud over $1,200. Felony again. The original charge was is there two charges? Identity fraud. Or is that what it's been amended to? Maybe it's been amended to that. Let's go down to the bottom. Still pending. Things still happening. Interesting, but obviously nothing to see here again. Nothing to see here. Oh, what's this? We've already had a larceny over $1,200, so we'll just check the case numbers. So that's 629 and that is 3168. So they are different cases. Sorry, there's the larceny over $1,200. It's got again a felony. Let's see, this is obviously dismissed, I would have thought. Oh no, another pending one. Interesting. Oh, there's another one. This person of extreme good character. I'll let you decide. Felony, forgery of check. File date in 2020. Let's have a look. So, what have we got here? So, forgery of check. Okay, it's utter false check issue, should that be? Continued without a finding. What's it say down the bottom? Oh, disposed by plea. So she's pled to this. So let's have a look at what she pled to. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, you can't see that. Oh, sorry. I'll up the screen a little bit so you can see that. Disposed by plea. There you go. Why isn't that scrolling for me? Scrolly. Another probation violation alleged. sentence imposed. On, that's the 10th of March, isn't it? Am I looking at the right thing on what I'm showing on the screen? Looks like victim witness assessment and a probation, which ran for 1 year. So, and she violated it by the looks of it. Not sure that that's been resolved. 24th of April is the last entry there. But obviously of good character. Oh, we're 25 minutes in, 26 minutes in. And just a reminder for anyone that's joined that we're talking about apparently the signatory of the affidavit filed in Turtle Boy's case. Now, I've done a lot of criminal records and court records in my time, looking at auditors. And very few of the auditors' records, court history, is as long as this individual's. Now, I do have, and there is another screen that I must show you. I do have, let me just get rid of the, we got rid of the PK there. So the final thing I'm going to do is show you her Twitter. I have had just come in while I've been recording this some further information. So rather than do another video, you're going to have to bear with me because I'm going to have to bring up that information and it'll be the first time I've seen it. So, really my aim today was just to show you, something that's out there on the public record. Right, here we go. Right, so this is the alleged signatory of the affidavit for Turtle Boy. What's this? Oh, what's going on here? Don't know what happened there. Sorry. I pressed play and nothing played. Now we have to go down a little way through her. Oh, who's that? Who's that? Obviously some interest in Turtle Boy. Going back some. Person of great character. Right. So that's Twitter, apparently. Jean Dorchester. Jean Freitas. I don't know where that comes from. But there you go. You can look at that to your heart's content. Right. Now, the breaking to me, things that have come through. And I believe, the court records are the court records. I've spoken over them. I've probably been in the wrong place at times because I'm an amateur at this. But you can go back. I'll hopefully get the picture that she's a person of great character, that her word can be trusted. Not. Right. So now I need to, let me just switch to a screen that I don't mind you seeing while I sort out this new information. Right. So Let's just go back there just for a second. This is just while I bring up the breaking news, which I'm going to add to the premiere. Right. Okay. I believe I've had 3 documents come in, so right. Okay. We might as well bring them up in this browser, I think. Right. Bear with me 1 second. I do apologise for springing this on you, but it's, don't know if we've probably got the wrong person, haven't we? Um, can't really rely on a signal, can I? That right, has something come up there? Right, I think so. You can't see it at the moment. Just bear with me 1 second. There we go. All right. Let's get this in the right place. Now, I'm reading them as I'm going to read these as I've opened them, so they may be in wrong date order, but let's have a read through these, shall we? Welcome to anyone who's joining. Perhaps we've had some of those, perhaps Mr. Bedrow or whatever he's called is going to join, have a look. He obviously did his due diligence on this person before, submitting that affidavit to the court. Right, here we go. Can we see all of that? So this is the Eastern Police Department, and it's a personal narrative for Officer Brianna J. Park. On Monday, January 11, 2021, I, Officer Brianna Park, was assigned to uniform patrol in marked cruiser number 38, working the 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. shift. At approximately 1:12 p.m., I was dispatched to 150 Sheridan Street for a disturbance between the resident and renter centre. Upon arrival, I observed a female in the driver's seat of a grey Mercedes bearing MA Reg 1JVC 44, later to be identified as Ms. Jean Colantonio. I then saw a renter centre employee, Mr. Emmanuel Boyke. I don't need his date of birth. I may go through this afterwards and blur that out. Standing in front of the Mercedes, Mr. Boyk informed me that he was the one who called, and Miss Colantonio just struck him with a car as he was attempting to repossess items from the home. EFD was on scene and escorted Mr. Boyke to the ambulance to be transported for minor injuries. Officer David Wohler arrived on scene to assist. I spoke with Ms. Colantonio, who stated that Mr. Boyke and his co-worker, Alexandra Agnew, came to the home earlier than discussed to retrieve their items. Ms. Colantonio informed me that she locked herself out of the home as Mr. Boyke and Mr. Agnew attempted to make entry, and she got into her vehicle and attempted to leave. Ms. Colantonio stated, Mr. Have I read that? She got into her vehicle and attempted to leave. Full stop. Ms. Colantonio stated Mr. Boyd got in front of her vehicle to prevent her from leaving, and she attempted to go around but did not make impact with him. She stated multiple times that Renter Centre was not supposed to come until 4 p.m. Ms. Colantonio then stated that she was having an anxiety attack and needed to go to the hospital, but then declined. I spoke with the manager of the Renter Centre employees, who informed me that Ms. Colantonio had not paid for her items over the past 2 months. I asked if they could return at 4 p.m. to retrieve the items as agreed upon by Ms. Colantonio, and they agreed It should also be noted that the landlord of the property was on scene, Mr. Ron Wood. Mr. Wood told me he saw the entire thing and that he observed Ms. Colantonio strike Mr. Boyke with her vehicle. In addition, I observed a camera on the outside of 147's Sheridan facing the direction of the home. Mr. Wood stated the homeowner there, Ms. Jane Dunlap, would have access to the footage. See attachments. In the video surveillance, you can observe Ms. Colantonio operating the grey Mercedes and intentionally drive forward and touch Mr. Boyke with her vehicle. It should be noted that Mr. Boyke wanted to pursue charges against Ms. Colantonio and was transported to Good Samaritan Hospital for leg pain. In addition, Ms. Colantonio was not trapped and could have exited her car and had the opportunity to manoeuvre the car around Mr. Boyke and Mr. Wood, but sat in the car and waited for us to arrive. I informed Ms. Colantonio that she would return at 4 p.m. to gather the furniture and that she would have to appear in court. Ms. Colantonio stated she would be pursuing an HPO against Rent-A-Centre and was going to Taunton District Court. Ms. Colantonio called several times and was unsuccessful in receiving an HPO from TDC. I am requesting Taunton District Court to pursue the following charge, and that is charged with a dangerous weapon. Now, I do recall in the documents that there was a assault with a dangerous weapon, but I can't remember if it was one of the ones dismissed. There was so many. I mean, I may have missed one or two, but hopefully you're getting the picture. What's that say? Probably get a strike on this personal information, but again, this is a public record. The important thing is to get it out. Was it? Did I see unemployed? Unemployed. Jean Colantonio, unemployed, runs up debts, gets a number of criminal charges, some dismissed, one pled, and some outstanding ones. Right. That's the first one. Hopefully you've got to the bottom there. Right, let's have a look. There's another two. And I received these whilst I was recording this. So hot off the press, as they say. Right. I have to go to my downloads to find. So, what's this one? You can't see the very top. I don't know why. You don't really need to see the very top. There's not a lot on it. Just her name. A social security number, actually. So maybe it's a good thing that you can't see it, because that may. Oh, what's this? This is forgery of checks. Forgery of checks. Forgery of checks to 2021. So these are the reports. Application for criminal complaint. Have we got any statements here? Or is it just... Okay, they're all changed to under $1,200 by the looks of it. Hang on, I'm looking. Yeah, no, we are on similar thing. See here. Under. When I couldn't understand, it said utter, I think. Which I couldn't understand. We've got any details. Or we're just going to run down that. So, oh, here we go. Do like narrative. I do like a narrative. I know it's making this video longer, but hey ho. This is Eastern Police Department. A personal narrative for Officer Michelle Rainey. On Tuesday, August 25, 2020, I, Officer Michelle Franey, was dressed in full departmental uniform and working the 4 to midnight hour shift. I was assigned to Mark Cruiser 37 in the north sector of town at approximately 7:15 p.m. I was dispatched to the front lobby of the police department to speak with Mr. Ronald Wood in regards to bounced cheques. Interesting. I did. That's one case that I did with Kate Peter back in the day. Haven't done anything with Kate Peter for a number of years, so you know. And I, for one, I don't believe that the Commonwealth proved the highest charge against Karen Read in the first trial. So I'm waiting to see the evidence in this trial before deciding. Sorry, I got waylaid. I got off topic there. Ronald explained his tenant, identified as Miss Jean Colantonio, rents a house from him that is located at 150 Sheridan Street in Easton. Ronald informed me Jean agreed to pay the sum of $1,800 a month for rent. He explained he received 3 separate cheques from Jean and all 3 cheques bounced. Ronald told me the cheques he received from Jean were not in her name. He explained Jean told him the account belonged to her aunt. We'll leave that name out. I observed the cheques that Jean had given Ronald. On the top of the cheques read, and that's that person, the cheques were linked to an account at the South Shore Bank. Ronald informed me the first cheque he received from Jean was on August 1st, 2020 for $4,600. He told me he deposited the cheque into his account and he received a notice from the bank. The cheque bounced due to insufficient funds in the account. He received a $7.23 service fee for the incident. Ronald explained the second cheque he received was on August 22nd, 2020 for $4,600. He informed me he called his bank to see if the cheque would clear before making the deposit. Ronald told me the bank explained there were insufficient funds in the account still and he would not be able to cash the cheque. So, and then there's a third cheque, $6,425. He explained the bank again informed him there were insufficient funds and he would not be able to cash the cheque. Ronald informed me he watched Jean fill out the third cheque and sign Marie's name at the bottom. Ronald explained he had communicated with Jean about making the rent payments, but she continues to make excuses as to why she is unable to make the payments. He informed me the last voicemail he received from Jean, she told him she was trying to collect the money from other people in order to pay the full amount owed to Ronald. I photocopied the cheques Ronald had received from Jean and attached them to this report. I attempted to make contact with Marie, but had been unsuccessful. Oh, couldn't find the owner of the checkbook. Right, there's another report, supplementary report. He successfully, so this is, I'm on item 2. This is August 26, 2020. The officer, detective, I should say, successfully contacted the checkbook signee on a departmental telephone. After introducing myself, I asked her to verify her home address and banking institution. She told me her address. She told me she banks exclusively with South Shore Bank, and that matched the information on the cheques. He asked Marie if she knows Jean Colantonio, or colloquially known by Turtle Boy as JD, and she told me she does. I asked her how she knows her, and she told me she is family. She then explained that Colantonio's mother is her cousin. She more or less considers her to be a niece. I asked Marie if she knew where Colantonio currently lives, and she told me that she recently moved and she was waiting to hear what her new address is. I informed Marie that Colantonio had recently moved to Easton and was renting here. I asked Marie if she ever lends Colantonio money, and she told me that she does. I asked her if she usually gives her cash or if she gets her money in another way. Colantonio told me she always gives her cash. Colantonio told me she remembers the exact date and amount she last lent Colantonio. I think there's a mistake there. I think one of them should be Marie. Marie further explained she lent Colantonio $150 cash on August 1 so she could pay her car insurance. She then told me Colantonio already paid her back. I then asked her if she ever uses cheques when lending people money, and she told me absolutely not. I asked her directly if she gave Colantonio any cheques recently or in the past, and she again told me no. I asked Marie if she had her chequebook handy, and she told me she did. I asked her if we could review some of the cheque numbers, and she agreed. Marie told me the last cheque she used was cheque number 1317. The cheque was in the amount of $351 and was used to pay her rent on August 1. I then asked Marie about cheque number 1316 and she told me this cheque was also used for a rent in July. I then asked her about cheque number 1315, but she was unable to find it. Lastly, I asked Marie about cheque numbers 1319 and 1320. Both cheques were missing, and the next available cheques were 1321 and 1322. All three missing cheques correspond exactly with the cheques which Colantonio gave to Ron Wood for rent. I informed Marie of the amount each cheque was written, and she laughed sarcastically, telling me she never has that much money anyways. I asked Marie if there was any reasonable explanation as to why Colantonio would be in possession of her cheques without her knowing, unless she stole them. Marie told me there would be no other reason, and she wishes Colantonio came to her first because in their family they always try and help each other out. I asked Marie if Colantonio previously lived with her, and she told me she lived with her while in between apartments. The tenancy at will agreement between Colantonio and Wood indicates Colantonio provided a current address. Marie was able to verify Colantonio's phone number. On Thursday, August 27, at approximately 10:52 hours, Colantonio returned an earlier voice message I left for her on her cell phone prior to being transferred to my office line. Colantonio was advised by dispatch she was on a recorded line. I introduced myself and informed Colantonio I was calling about a complaint we received from her new landlord, Ronald Wood. I invited her to the police station to speak further about the complaint, but she told me she had prior obligation. I suggested we speak over the phone and she agreed. I first verified with Colantonio her name, date of birth, last four of her social security number and her address. I advised her she was not under arrest and then advised her of her Miranda rights. I read each line from the Eastern Police Department form, stopping after each question to ask her if she understood. Colantonio stated she understands and is willing to speak with me. I asked Colantonio what was going on with the situation. I told her I'd already spoken with the other involved individuals, including Wood and Marie. Colantonio initially told me she was confused and she doesn't understand what situation I was talking about. Perhaps she doesn't understand much about lying to a court. I knew most of the answers to the questions I was planning to ask her and that I was really trying to get a gauge of her truthfulness with me. I then told her I was aware the three cheques she signed and handed to Wood had bounced. Colantonio did not dispute this. I asked her whose name is on the cheques and she verified the cheques belonged to Marie Pace. I asked her what her relation to Marie was and she told me she is her aunt. I did ask for clarification and mentioned that Marie told me her mother is her cousin. She told me this was accurate. I asked Colantonio if she has ever lived with Marie and she told me here and there. I asked her to be more specific and she told me she last lived with her in July 2020. I asked her if she was staying there while looking for a new residence, and she told me she was. I then asked her why she would take cheques from her own aunt. Colantonio told me Marie was aware of it. Colantonio told me she didn't have any cheques of her own, so she gave Marie a large sum of cash to deposit into her banking account. In turn, Marie gave her some cheques. I reminded Colantonio that I'd just spoken with Marie yesterday. I told her that Marie and I discussed her financial situation, and she laughed aloud when I told her the amount of the cheques were written for due to the high amount. I asked Colantonio if Marie had ever used cheques in the past to loan her money, and she told me she has. I informed Colantonio that Marie stated to me there were no questions the cheques were stolen from her. I further explained that her side of the story completely contradicted my conversation with Marie and asked her if she could offer any reasonable explanation for the discrepancies. Colantonio was not able to provide any additional information. While Colantonio denied any wrongdoing, she did not dispute having possession of the stolen cheques, signing Marie Pace's name on them and handing them to Wood. Marie made no mention of large sums of cash being given to her by Colantonio and was very clear with me that she does not use cheques to lend people money. Marie Pace is 78 years old and her only source of income is Social Security. Colantonio is well aware of this fact. A check of Colantonio's MA criminal history indicates she has open cases for credit card fraud and identity fraud out of Quincy District Court. Based on the facts presented in this case, I am respectfully requesting Taunton District Court summons Jean Colantonio for the following offences. Forgery of three cheques, and we did see that case. So there you go. That's more detail of that one. And finally, we're heading towards the hour here, and so it's quite a long video, but just some facts that I say facts. The apparent affiant in the Turtle Boy case that came up with some fairly, as I say, I don't think the Commonwealth proved the main charge in the first case, personally, beyond a reasonable doubt. So I'm not KR is definitely guilty person. At this point, I'm waiting for the second trial, and let's see what happens. Right. Third one I've got here. Can we see the top? I'm going to have to bring you down a bit. I'm sorry about this. Not that one. Which screen am I on? I'm on that one. Right. No, not that one. Must be on that one. There we go. Right. Bringing you down. Right. So this is East Bridgewater Police Department. That's the one that's easy for me because it's 13 and we only have 12 months. 13th of July 2023, I, Officer Michael Curtin, was assigned to the Patrol Division of the East Bridgewater Police Department in a marked Cruiser 206 during the 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. shift. At approximately 1:24 hours p.m., I was dispatched to Smile Auto Rental Inc., located at 349 North Bedford Street, for a report of a party using a fraudulent cheque for payment. I arrived on the scene and was met by the secretary for the business, Teresa McNulty. McNulty stated Dale Colantino rented a vehicle from the business on the 23rd of March. The rental fee on the vehicle amounted to $4,879.56 as of the 21st of June 2023. Colantonio paid $1,543.52 via credit card and cash. The remaining outstanding balance was $3,336.04. On the 19th of June, Colantonio paid the remaining balance with a personal cheque, $3,555. On the 10th of July, the cheque was returned by Northeastern Savings Bank for stop payment. Now, I see the name Dale Colantino. At the moment, that means nothing to me. I'll keep on reading through this document to see where Gene Colantino comes into it. So, on the 14th of July 2023, I spoke with Colantino via telephone. Colantino was advised of her... we're on to a her now. Unless I'm being silly. I've never heard of a woman called Dale, but I might be wrong there. So, Colantino was advised of her Miranda rights, which she stated she understood. Colantino stated that she gave the cheque for payment and post-dated it until July. I then informed her that the cheque was dated the 19th of June 2023. Colantino then stated that she told the business that she was going to drop off cash for payment. As of 14 July 2023, Colantonio had not paid the remaining balance. I advised Colantonio that she would be charged with larceny by cheque over $1,200. I later determined that Gene Colantonio was using Dale's identity, and I spoke with Gene. Right, that explains it. Attached to this report is the rental agreement, a copy of the Massachusetts driver's license given to Smile Auto, copy of cheque. A copy of the cheque returned by Northeastern Savings Bank and receipt of payments Colantino made. On the 4th of August 23, the East Bridgewater Police Station received a call from Dale Colantonio. I spoke with Dale via telephone, and Dale stated she received a summons to appear in Brockton District Court. Dale stated she has never rented a car from Smile Auto Inc. Dale stated she recently started letting her sister, Jean Colantonio, so obviously is a female name, live with her, and is believed her sister used her name on the rental agreement. I told Dale that Jean used her Massachusetts driver's license and a check in her name for the rental car. I reckon I got that one pretty good. Massachusetts. I then asked Dell what Jean's telephone number is, and she stated, a query of the Clear database resulted in phone number belonging to Jean Colantonio. I advised Dell that the charges against her would be dropped. I then met with the owner of Smile Auto Inc., John McGrail. McGrail informed Jean rented the vehicle from the business for her Massachusetts driver's license photo. John stated the phone number she gave was. I then attempted to contact Jean via telephone and she did not answer. A query of Jean's BOP revealed she has 6 WMS warrants for similar offences. It is unlikely Jean will appear without arrest. I requested a warrant be issued for the following charge, and that's the larceny by cheque over $1,200. Right, that's the final report. I've got to the end, or at the end, towards the end of this video. This video is purely for information purposes, for the point of view of perhaps judging the truthfulness of the affiant on the recent Turtle Boy affidavit that has been filed in his case. If you haven't seen that affidavit, I know it's on Turtle Boy's site. You can get it from other sites, I think. I'll keep an eye on the comments and in the chat when this premieres, just to see if people haven't got a copy, and I'll try and either scroll through a copy on here at some point. As I say, an unusual one for me. I am going to tag certain commentators on the Karen Reid case. I'm specifically going to, well, if he has a YouTube account, that Bedro, who is making appearances. To me, it's a case of if you throw enough shit at the wall, a bit of it's going to stick, and that is the defence, and it's probably Turtle Boy's defence in his cases. There goes my phone. I hope I'm not ignoring someone. So I'll have to bring it to a close. As I say, this will probably be struck when it premieres because of privacy, but hey ho. I've recorded it as a premiere, so I've got the original video, and I'll then go through and make it YouTube friendly. But this was live, hot off the press stuff to me, as you know, 3 documents I hadn't seen when I started it. Well, you make your judgments about this woman. I mean, I know what my judgment would be, and I am definitively surprised that Turtle Boy's attorneys didn't do their due diligence on the affiant. Thanks for watching. This will probably cause a stir, but hey ho. Goodbye from the frog. Oh, look, I'm going by with a bloody white screen. I mean, that shows my professionalism at this, doesn't it? Let's bring up, what have we got here? Don't want that one. That's the one we want. I think we'll end it with a photo of JD, Jean Dorchester. I mean, I've never met her. I haven't seen her driving license, so I don't know if that is a photo of Jean Colantonio, but I suspect it is. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.